Hello! We are out in the woods today. It is minging British spring weather. We don't have any sunshine, we've got plenty of rain. A little bit of wind thrown in there, just to spice things up. But that doesn't mean we can't get outdoors. Skin's waterproof, I'm waterproof, he's waterproof. And we're going to go in and just do a bit of pottering around the woods. Going to set up a little shelter, I think. And there's a lot of wild edibles around at the moment, so thought we'd go and see what I can spot, see if there's any mushrooms, see if we can find the elusive wild garlic, and plenty of other stuff about as well. So we're going to go and do a little bit of more bushcrafty and foraging style stuff today, and we thought we'd bring you with us. The good news is that it is so rainy and wet and generally gross that no one else has come out because they're sensible. So I've not seen anyone around yet at all, no other cars parked up, so we might have the place relatively to ourselves today. It's a fairly big chunk of woodland, but we got the twig stove, we've got our own wood if needed, we got a shelter, we got some lunch and some breakfast as well actually, and we have a small dog who wasn't very small when I had to lift him over the stiles last week. He was a big dog then. 31 kilos of him. There is just so much green erupting in the woods though. Beauty. Let's find a log. Find a log to perch on. Slight change of location. Where I stopped just a second ago, which is about 5 feet over that way, I didn't really have anywhere decent to strap my tarp up, so just moved over here. I've got a few more trees available to try and get a bit of shelter up, so we're going to do that. If you're wondering how I'm getting this up, I have a line attached to, a ridge line basically attached to my tarp on opposing sides, just paracord, and at one end I've got a bowline knot which creates a loop, and at the other end I've got one of these clips which is a lock-in Nite clip. I forgot what they're called, I'll see if I can find a link for the description, and this will lock it in place and allow me to tension and release tension on the line. So what I do is I just wrap it around a tree, put this end through, and then it locks onto the tree like that, and then I can adjust the length with this end. So that's all I'm doing. Job done. So that's just a British Army Basher tarp. In military terms they tend to call them ponchos because it's derived from when it used to be a poncho. To most people it'll be a tarp. 4 bungees, so 1 bungee on each corner. At the front they're up high to let the water drain off the back, and the back are low, just put in with pegs. And then either side is the ridgeline with those tensioning clips that I showed you about. Little shelter in no time. Happy days. So that's nice. This shelter I wouldn't leave up overnight when it's super windy or anything. I'd probably secure it down with a few more lines. I'd probably not use bungees on all the corners, I'd use paracord, because that holds a bit more firmly obviously because it hasn't got so much stretch. But yeah, for today we're only going to be out for like during the daytime, so should be all good. I've also not eaten yet today. I'm trying out the old intermittent fasting at the moment, just helping to try and shed some pounds along with exercise and generally diet control. Some days are not going to be my best day, to be honest, but we're out walking and doing exercise most of the day, so not too worried about it. As you probably saw on the walk in, and you can probably see behind me, there's a lot of green on the floor. Most of it's ferns and stuff that you're not going to be eating, but there's going to be some wild edibles around as well. So we're looking at hedge garlic or garlic mustard, chervil, ground elder, and I saw some, I forgot the name of the plantains, you know the hairy plantains, I can't remember, the ones that they taste and smell like mushrooms, and you can use them in lieu of mushrooms in pasta and stuff like that. I've seen plenty of those around all over the place. If I find wild garlic, as you can imagine, I will be having celebration of the century. Can you stop digging out my chair? Hey! Having the ground literally dug out from underneath me. So yeah, wild garlic would be celebration time. But even if I don't find it, it's a nice day to be out, and I know a lot of people will look at this and go, oh, it's raining and miserable, but I think it's really important to learn to enjoy existing in the rain, because especially in England, if you don't enjoy existing in the rain, you're screwed for, you know, at least 50% of the year. The floor seems further away than it used to be. Thanks, bud. Finn's decided that the best place to dig is just where I'm sat. So if I suddenly fall down a hole, out of shot, you know why. Now to the goodies. Oopsie daisy. Water's boiled. Obviously we have tea. I'm British, therefore we have tea. And some hot chocolate if I fancy it. So today, for breakfast we have porridge, which is rolled oats, skim milk powder, sugar. I just pour hot water in that apparently, leave it for a few minutes and then job done. So that's going to be my breakfast. And then for lunch we have chicken curry, potatoes and rice. (135 calories per 100 grams, so that's 405 calories, 405 calories worth in there. I'm going to have plenty because we also have this orange flavoured cake. Now the vanilla one last time was superb. Date of production March 2023, so this is new by ration standards. Best before May 2026. So that's going to be nice as well. So I'm going to have my breakfast, do some moseying around with Finn, and then we're going to come back and I'll have lunch. Lovely. Right, now how do we open this? Can I open it? Yes. Beauty. So it says, add 130 millilitres of boiling water. I don't really know how much 130 millilitres is, so I'm just going to kind of cover it with a little bit extra maybe. Looks like porridge. Quite fine. Right, I'm not going to hold the sachet from underneath, that's a silly idea. And then it says, hold up the top and leave it to do its thing. Hey buddy, a bit of water. A bit of water. Here we are. Does it look like porridge? Looks like quite watery porridge. Can you see that? Without me tipping it out. Yeah. I overwatered it, I think. I've given it a good mix up though, to try and absorb more. It's only just overwatered, to be fair. Too bad. See, a bit watery, but overall could be worse. It's quite plain. There's slight sweetness to it, but otherwise it is completely plain porridge, and not really good quality porridge. Look, don't get me wrong. On a cold, wet day like this, when I've not eaten anything, this is nice. Like, I'm happy to have a warm meal, and it's obviously nutritious. There's oats, which are going to be some good slow release energy, and there's the skim milk powder and stuff. I wonder why they use skim milk powder. Maybe fatty stuff doesn't keep as well. You know what I could do actually? I'm a genius. Am I a genius? Probably not. Remember I said I had that hot chocolate? Well, I'm thinking maybe if I sprinkle a bit of this in there, it'll be like chocolatey porridge. It's thickened it up a bit. How about that? Got powder on the spoon, which hasn't helped. That's much better. If I have porridge again, I shall do that. There are far worse ways to spend a day than just sat here listening to the rain hit that shelter. Drinking a cup of tea, chilling with my dog. Life's pretty good. Just surrounded by nature. The only noise I'm able to hear other than the rain hitting the tarp and the wind in the trees is the occasional gunshot. I think there's either a clay range nearby, or they'll just be probably shooting grey squirrel or pheasant. It's not too close, like I'm not worried about it, but you can hear it occasionally. You might hear the occasional gunshot. Don't worry, it is not World War III. Finn's not fazed by it. He's got more important things to do, such as digging holes. Isn't that right, bud? You having fun there, buddy? digging my seat. Digging my seat out. Something that you need to be cautious of when you're in the woods as well. So you always want to be looking above you for widowmakers, which is things that can fall on your head and kill you, hence the name. But also, I'd want to be wary of things like this. See the angle of that tree there? Wouldn't really want to sleep under that. If you look at this one here as well, just here, if you follow that up, you can see there's quite an overhang on there as well. And that doesn't look like the sort of tree that's going to last long in a big storm or heavy wind. So just be cautious of that sort of thing wherever you pick your spot. Whether you're camping, whether you're just sat down having lunch or whatever, just be aware. So whilst this looks like a poo emoji, it's not. Can anyone tell me what it is? I believe this to be a poo fungus. Now this is usually found on birch. However, it was just on the floor down there, so I thought, oh, that's weird, I can't see any birch trees. And then I turned around and we've got a silver birch here and the top of it's come off. Hey, come here. Just there, you can see it stops. So I imagine this was on that. That's quite cool, isn't it? Oh. Hey, good boy. Well done, bud. Good boy, well done. This will be where a squirrel's been eating its pine cones. Sit on a little perch there, eat some pine cones, and then off he goes. Talking of which, oh, we exploring. We're exploring. Hey Finn, come here. Good boy. What's this? Hey, what's this? Good boy. Well done, buddy. It's funny because he takes the exact same route back. So, even though he could have just run straight to me, he follows the route he came. Proven route, Finn. Good drills. No. Fast as fuck, boy. I don't know if you can see it, but it goes up there and around there. It doesn't look like it's humans who've done this, because sort of knee height and up it's overgrown, but it looks like there's a channel that maybe, I don't know, rabbit or badgers or something uses to get around. Once you spot these little channels sort of running through the woods, it kind of turns into like a motorway network, like a leaping salmon. Not quite as clever. Good boy. He's having a great time. Well done, bud. Shall we see what we've got? Hey Finn, come here. What this? Treats. Yeah, treats. Treats! So again, destroyed pine cone. Looks like the work of a squirrel. Probably a grey squirrel, unfortunately, but a squirrel nonetheless. I've had a bit of a wander around, and in terms of forageables, I'm not finding a huge amount, to be honest. I'm not a hugely experienced forager, so there's stuff that I just will not even bother with. So anything that's in the carrot family, I leave that well alone, because you've got some pretty dangerous stuff there. However, what I have found quite a lot of is animal sign. Now, I was thinking that it was majority going to be squirrels, which it probably is. However, the little burrow that I hopefully just showed you doesn't look like a squirrel burrow, because it's about that big. So I don't know what that would be. Maybe a mouse or a vole or something. So that's quite cool. I'd be interested to hear thoughts on that. I'm in pine forest predominantly here, so if I wanted to find things like hedge garlic, probably wild garlic as well. This is a plantation, so I'm not sure if wild garlic ramsons grow predominantly in sort of newer pine forests like this, or if they'd be more in sort of the older woodland with more than just pine trees about, which there is plenty of around here as well. It's just not the bit I'm in at this second. So yeah, we're seeing lots of brambles, lots of ferns, lots of mud. Thanks, buddy. If you find me a truffle, that would be grand. Finn's had a really good run around. As you can see, he is completely out of energy. Thought I'd just carve myself a little spoon, well, not a spoon, a little stirrer for my tea, so I don't have to keep cleaning off my spoon before I stir my tea after eating with it. The knife I'm using is a TBS Boar folder. I love this thing. It's completely UK legal EDC, because the folding mechanism is just a slip joint. There's no lock whatsoever, and the length of the blade is less than 3 inches long, which means that it's completely UK legal in all circumstances other than perhaps if you're going into a courtroom or in an airport or something like that. But it's got red liners, which I quite like. It's got a curly birch scale on it, well, curly birch scales on it, and then it's got a Scandi grind. But yeah, this is brilliant. Well happy with this. Would recommend. It's got a bigger brother as well, which is just the TBS Boar standard Bushcraft knife, which isn't a folder, it's just a fixed blade, and that's another nice knife. But I'm more comfortable carrying these sort of things around, to be honest, just because this is woodland that's open access. This is on access land, so I don't actually own this woodland, and if I've got a fixed blade knife and I haven't got a good excuse, things can start to get a bit risky. I'd probably be okay because I am doing bushcraft, but you never know, and I don't need anything more than this for what I'm doing today, so this is absolutely fine. I think I'm going to get the bigger version of this Bushbox. This is the LF version, but there's an XL version, which, as the name suggests, is bigger. This is absolutely fine for one person. The only reason I want the XL version is because I could maybe just keep it smouldering for a bit longer without having to constantly feed it, because this burns intensely, but it's a really small contained area. Now I'm going to go crazy today, and I'm not having a second cup of tea. I'm going to use up the rest of this hot chocolate. Wild scenes. Finn's just eating the forest. Just having a good munch on the forest. What's the difference between forest and woodland? I feel like I should know. Forest sounds bigger, doesn't it? You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to actually put my chicken curry in the thing, in the water. So it's heating up now. Just, I think I've shown you this already, but just in case. There you go. So that's what I'm having. Fold in half, splot it in the cup with my water, and as the water heats up, my lunch heats up. Do you like to guess who's got themselves tangled up against a tree? Any guesses? Now it probably seems a bit silly to some people bringing my own wood into the woods and into the woodland, and I don't always, it depends where I'm going. However, I do usually have at least like just 1 or 2 bits just in case I cannot find anything to get wood, the stove going if I'm not near woods as well. But also I'm in a area of woodland which has got conservation stuff going on, and whilst there is loads of wood, it's a bit damp, but I could manage. Whilst there is loads of wood around, if everyone came along and did that, there wouldn't be so much, and the wood, even just fallen wood, provides habitat for insect life and, you know, part of the general woodland ecosystem as well. I think it's really hard getting out into the woods and doing things like making fires and stuff these days, and I do think that there's a bit of balance to be had, but there are people who do it really irresponsibly and they ruin it for the rest of us, unfortunately. So I like to try and promote responsible use of woodland. This isn't mine, as I said, it's access land, so I'm allowed on it, but it is not mine, it does not belong to me, and it's managed, so there's all sorts of, you know, schemes and things going on that I might not be aware of. So for this sort of thing, I've got loads of wood at home that is actual firewood, kiln dried, so I can just bring some in. It's a twig stove, so I don't need loads. Also, if anyone wants to try and challenge me on it and say, oh well, it's criminal damage because you're damaging our property, I'm not. It's my wood. Probably being overcautious, but hey, it's no big shakes just to bring a bag with a bit of wood in. There are places where I wouldn't, but here I'm just being a bit more careful. Hey bud. Hello. Orange cake. Cake in a bag. Vanilla cake last week was brilliant. One of the best things I've ever had out of a ration pack. So you can see it comes in like this little paper tray, and it's like a slice of, can you see that? Bit crumbly. You know what, that's pretty good. It's got a faint orange flavour, it doesn't taste too super orangey. It tastes like there's some, you know, like the flavour of orange zest. That's what it tastes like. I would happily have this again. I don't really eat cake in general. I know looking at me you probably wouldn't know that. But yeah, I tend to prefer savoury stuff than cake. So this is a nice treat, it's good. That was well nice. My water's boiling. My water. There you go. Looking good. That fit. That's what she said. Yeah. Just jiggle it around and slot it on in there. That's also what she said. Well, that's suboptimal. Oh, it's filthy. Off in one. It smells like a curry in a bag. Right, curry in a bag. Ooh. Let's give it a stir. The good news is I can't see any honking sultanas yet. That looks like curry, doesn't it? Mmm. I thought that was a big chunk of potato, but that was a big chunk of chicken breast. I just find it amazing, the ration packs these days. Not yours, no. Ration packs these days, the food is actually recognisable food. Do you mind? Come on, over here. This is a nice surprise. I wasn't expecting much from this, to be honest. It's not a hot and spicy curry. There is a level of heat to it. You can taste a bit of heat. But I wouldn't imagine it's going to blow your head off if you're not into your spice too much. Shouldn't do. I'm not a very good judge because I quite like hot food. I've had worse curries than this out of a microwave meal, but also out of some, you know, cafeterias and stuff. So to be able to get a curry of this quality, I'm not saying it's like you get from an Indian restaurant, it's not. But to get a curry of this quality in a bag is really impressive. Now they need to come with shelf-stable poppadoms. And like a shelf-stable pint of Cobra or Kingfisher. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Have a curry, a couple of poppadoms and a pint. Hello. And prodded. Prod, prod. That was very, very nice. On a scale of 1 to 10. Orange cake, I'd say an 8. The chicken curry with potatoes and rice, I'm going to give that an 8 as well. 2 8s, that is not bad, is it? Should we feed him? And he has been fed this week already. He had a really good breakfast this morning, actually. So you know the other week I said that he stopped eating breakfast on Sundays. Well, if my wife gives him breakfast on Sundays, he eats it. So someone's playing favourites. I'm not going to lie, this looks good even as human food. Gently. Good boy, well done. Because we don't litter. Can't stand littering. It's just such a selfish crime. You're going, well, I can't be asked to do anything with it, so I'll just leave everyone else to deal with it. It's just really selfish. Really grips my goat. Just a wrapper. Just fold it up tiny, just put it in my bag, and then when I get home I'll put it in the actual bin. Because I'm not lazy. Litterers. Not you watching this, obviously, I know you don't litter. There are some people who do, unfortunately, though. Snuffle, snuffle, snuffle. Hello. Doing a bit of a weird squat because I can't get the camera high enough. We've been chilling out for a little bit. We've had a wander around. Finn's done some running around. We've not spotted any edibles, which is fine. But we're going to have a little walk after we drop the stuff off at the car to see if we can find any for next time, or even today if it looks worth foraging. So I'm going to pack up camp. Finn's probably going to dig more holes and chew on more sticks, and then we'll head back to the car. Remember, leave no trace, boys and girls. All the embers from the twig stove are completely doused and buried, stirred up into a watery slush. Now we're just on our way out. It's been a good day today. Food, so the porridge, I'd say porridge as is on a scale of 1 to 10, probably 4. If you like just plain, very slightly sweetened porridge, it's alright. By porridge standards, it's not even that good porridge. Adding the chocolate drink mix in there, that definitely levelled that up. So I'd say with the chocolate mix, it was probably 6.5. No, 6. So it was above average, it was nice, warming and chocolatey. Finn's been a very good boy today. Very, very happy with how he's done. He's enjoyed himself. He's covered in mud and detritus. So we found something forageable in a small quantity just to show you. So this is garlic mustard, or hedge garlic. It looks a bit like a nettle, doesn't it? You can see the stinging nettles just here, which again edible, but also stinging, so be careful with them. But this is hedge garlic or garlic mustard, and if you scrunch it up you do get a garlic smell. And identify it because you've got these little clusters of cross-shaped white flowers on the top, plus the smell. That's a good indicator for you. Here we go, see it's growing quite in abundance along here. Now around here is where you might go, oh, I found some cow parsley or something, but you need to be careful because it might be hemlock water dropwort, or dropwort, I'm not sure how to pronounce the last word. But so you need to really be careful because that is deadly. But here, look at all this. So this is the second growth because you can see that it's more, you've got sort of more sawtooth edges. The initial growth is much more rounded than that. Now this I believe to be hogweed. Another edible, but not to be confused with giant hogweed. Giant hogweed has sap that is, I believe it's phototoxic. I think that's what it's called. Which means that if you get it on your skin and then sunlight comes into contact with your skin, you get really bad burns. Giant hogweed is actually really dangerous. If you Google it, you'll see what sort of stuff, what sort of injuries people get. Normal hogweed is slightly phototoxic, so be careful with the sap, but it's nowhere near as bad. Giant hogweed can burn you, and it can affect that area of skin for about 7 years, or up to 7 years, so be careful there. Some bluebells. The big ones are common comfrey, I think. I'd call today a success. We got to go in and do what we wanted to do, which is do a little bit of foraging, or at least looking for forageable stuff, which we found plenty of. We found cow parsley, hogweed, that plantain that I've forgotten the first word of, loads of garlic mustard. We also got to see plenty of animal sign, which is really nice, seeing sort of like diversity in the woodland. Thanks ever so much for watching again. I really do appreciate the views and the likes, and if you want to like and subscribe, it does really help me out. And if you don't like it, that's fine too. You know, don't lie for me. Argentina. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next week. Cheerio. Say goodbye. Good boy.